Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I'm coming to do my January reading wrap-up. I was going to kind of delay in doing this just a little bit because I don't normally record my wrap-ups on the 31st, the last days of the month. However, I am not feeling my best, and so I don't know if after today I'm going to feel up to recording, so I'm going to go ahead and get the recording of this as well as my TBR video out of the way so that if I don't feel like being presentable, I don't have to worry about it. This is as presentable as it's getting for right now. So what I'm going to do is share with you the books that I read over this month. I am not going to give details about the books that I have already reviewed. I will be creating a playlist of the books that I have reviewed and uploaded the videos for the month of January, and that will be linked in the description box below, so you can check that out if you would like to see more information about these books that I've read that I've already reviewed. You can check those out. So, and they're not going to be in order because the stack is quite large, and it's sitting on top of the drawer container thing that I use for my washi tape, and I'm just going to take the books off of it because the container has a dent in it now. So yeah, they're going to be done backwards. I read The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. This is volume 3 in the Penguin Sherlock Holmes collection which are short stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. What I did this month, which I am probably going to continue for the duration of this year because I loved it, I read a Sherlock Holmes mystery, a short story, during the week, and I read one a day for the most part. And then I read my larger books on the weekends, and then I would read through them also during the week, but after I read my short story. So I think I'm going to keep that going because I felt more accomplished. I felt like I was getting more done, even though January is always a big reading month for me because of the readathons that take place at the start of the year. But I did enjoy these. This is my first time reading Sherlock Holmes, and I read this for Sherlock Holmes Reading Month, which was coordinated by Winks over at Winks and Ink. And this was my first time reading any Sherlock Holmes short stories. This was just really enjoyable to see, and to see the deductive reasoning and the attention to detail. And I think out of the 12 stories that are in this collection, my favorite is probably The Man with the Twisted Lip or The Blue Carbuncle. Both of those are like, The Speckled Band. And this is the kind of mystery that's like right up my alley. I'm not a big mystery reader, but I really enjoyed these and the way that the mysteries were solved, and yeah. Next, I read Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. I double read this. I read this in print as well as an audiobook as I was out and about because I started this during 24 and 48, and then I had, things to do as the weeks went along. So as I was out and about, I listened to it on an audiobook through Overdrive when I was driving, and the audiobook was narrated by Daniel Sharman. I had to put a little post-it in the book to remember. I really enjoyed this. I'm thinking I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed the Mortal Instruments series. If the Mortal Instruments had stopped at book 3, which was City of Glass, where it was supposed to stop, then they would be neck and neck. But because it just was extended ridiculously, and pretty much every book kind of sort of ended with, you knew that there was going to be some kind of additional drama at the end. I haven't even read the 7th book yet, and I'm going to read the 7th book on audiobook. I'm going to borrow it. I'm not going to buy it. Only because there is a story with 2 of the characters in this book that continues, and I was kind of spoiled for something that happens in this book because I borrowed Lady Midnight from the library, and it alluded to, it said it didn't even allude to it, it said it flat out, and I immediately closed the book and took it back to the library because I knew I needed to read this first, and I owned this. 24 and 48, as I said, because that's how I started, or when I started reading Clockwork Princess. I also read during that readathon Monstrous by Marjorie Liu with art by Sana Takeda. Oh my gosh, I had been putting this off because this is a whopper of a first volume, but on Thomas's live show where he discussed with some other booktubers in the SFF community what their favorite books were for 2016. In the comments when we were talking, everybody, Caitlin from Kitty G, Paul from Come and Touch a Fantasy, Chris from The Reading Roads, all of them said when I told them that I had Monstrous on my bookshelf but I just hadn't picked it up yet, all of them said, oh my God, go read it, basically. So I deviated from my TBR for 24 and 48 and picked this up, and I am so glad that I did. This is a story about a girl who is, you can't really tell, well yeah you can if I hold it up, who is missing an arm that she loses in a war, and she's like taken as a slave to be sold to these people, and things happen. And it's a very drawn out story. I think I said in my 24 and 48 wrap up that I'd heard some people who were reading this that were super hyped about it at the beginning of the story, but they were reading it as single issues, and as the single issues went along, they lost interest or began to like it less and less, even though the art is beautiful throughout. They began to like the story less and less, and I didn't have that issue, and I think it's because I read it as the bind up of the first 6 issues, and so I wasn't able to have the break in between to have that be a problem. So I would suggest reading it as the bind up. This is one heck of a bind up, but you know, Image Comics, right? Image, all of their first issues or first volumes are $10. So it's well worth it, and the art is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So, and there's a talking cat and these cute, adorable kids, and some things are just grotesque and brutal looking, and that's right up my alley. And I'm showing you only artwork from the beginning, but you know, from the first issue, because I don't want to show, you know, too much information that might be spoiler, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend this, and I am looking forward to Volume 2. Before that, I read Sweet Tooth Volume 1 by Jeff Lemire. I have been putting off reading this graphic novel series. It's gotten so many wonderful comments and reviews on BookTube, and I don't know if it was just the hype that made me nervous about reading it or what, but holy balls, I kind of liked it a lot. The first thing that I liked is the way that the paper feels. It's reminiscent of those recycled notebook paper pages that they had when I was in school back in the day. And it's like a thicker version of that, but I just really liked the way that the pages felt. And then I really enjoyed the story. It's this post-apocalyptic thing that's happened where there's this virus that I guess that has killed off humanity, and the only ones who are immune are these human-animal hybrids. And for the regular humans, if they haven't gotten it yet, they get it soon, and it kills them all. And so it's this one character in this story, and like just dealing with the times that they are in his first time and movement, step out into the real world. I am totally not talking about this well. I'm sorry. But I really enjoyed this, and I was surprised. And before that, I read Kindred, the graphic novel adaptation, which is the adaptation of Octavia Butler's Kindred by Damien Duffy and the artwork done by John Jennings. I have done a review of this, and you can check that out in the playlist below. Prior to reading that, I read the source material for the graphic novel, which is the original novel, Kindred by Octavia Butler. If you are new to my channel, just so you know, this is my third copy of this book. I loved this book so much when I first read it in 2001 that this was one of the main books that I would loan out to people if they were looking for a good book or a book that they could really get into by a black author, and this was not returned 3 times. So I repurchased it 3 times, and it took forever for me to find this edition again at the point when I bought it, and I hate that there's stickers on it, but I can't get the sticker off. The original copy that I had did not have the sticker on it, but that's what happens when people steal your books. But I also did talk about this on the review for the graphic novel adaptation. This is the first book that I ever read by Octavia Butler, and it started my obsession with her. I love this book. Okay, and yeah, we're really out of order because this is the book that I started the month with. I finally finished Valor by John Gwynne, and I think I have a review of this also. This is the second book in the Faithful and the Fallen series, but I started this in November at the start of the Tome Topple Readathon, and I did not finish it until I think the first or second week in January because I just had a whole bunch of stuff going on. I also read Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova, and I have a review of this as well. Check it out if you are interested in doing so. And I read 2 single-issue comics, issues 7 and 8 in the Black Panther. I believe I read these during By the Books. Still enjoying this series and the way that it's going. And actually there are some other characters of color that are being brought into this Marvel superheroes as well. So yeah, it's great. I'm loving the way this is going. And I started the month with Giant Days Volume 3. Injection, is that what this is? Yes. Injection Volume 2 and Postal Volume 2. All 3 of these I have a mashup review of that is in the playlist below. Enjoyed all 3 of them. And I believe that makes 12 things that I read in the month of January. Let me check that. I have my planner right here. No, 13 things that I read in the month of January. Credit that to the readathons. That is where it's come from. And the reading of short stories like the Sherlock Holmes and some of the graphic novels or comics that I read during the week, and then bigger books during the weekend. I also took the time this month to make, I'm playing around with bullet journaling, but to make an account for the books that I have, that I own, that I haven't read. And oh my gosh, it was a little bit like, I did this on 2 pages and I was like, oh, that's going to be more than enough space. At first I said I was just going to do 1 page, and then yeah, it's like this is the only, that's all that I have left. And that really was with making the sections for the books as small as I most possibly could. And what the count ended up being was 161 or 162 physical books, and then 60 books on my Kindle. And actually now even the Kindle count is at 64, but nope, 65, because I've gotten 2 books from NetGalley, and I just downloaded 3 other books. Yeah, so in my attempt, and I did that because I want, of course, I'm focusing more this year on reading the books that I already own, #backlist buddies, and yeah, I did that so that I could keep a better account with myself of reading the books that I actually own. That way I can visually see in front of me the changes that I am making by doing this throughout the year. So I think I've talked enough. Wouldn't you agree? I'm going to end this video right here. Stay tuned. Next will be my February TBR. So thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. And I hope you have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.